The following is a proud production presented by the Middle Georgia Sports Network. Well, football is right around the corner, and the Middle Georgia Sports Network would like to welcome you to the Top 10 Countdown Show for AAA GISA. Your hosts are Kenny Kofer and Brett Taylor.
Return to the Mac. Get 'em what it is, what it does, what it is, what it isn't. Looking for a better way to get it.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Middle Georgia Sports Network Top 10 Countdown Show. I'm Kenny Kofer, alongside me, Brett Taylor. Back again for another year, year 3 of our coverage of GISA football here in the mid-state of Georgia. And we're going to count down the top 10 teams in AAA of GISA. And Brett, first of all, looking back last year, what a great season it was, obviously for Westfield going for their second straight state championship, but also just the teams that kind of came out of nowhere and made a name for themselves. As the Macon schools moved on, it opened the door to some other teams to come in, and you saw some of those new teams make some hay in the playoffs.
Yeah, and as you said, some big surprises at times from teams, and then some teams we thought might, from their regular season success might just, have all kinds of postseason success, goes out and kind of their season fizzles and they go out early. But teams like, Westminster and Pinewood Patriots, how about them? They went all the way to the state championship game at Mercer University. They lose that game, but, what a season they had. And then you throw in, another team like the John Miller's Trojans, got all the way to the semifinals of the state playoffs and
Knocked
off Valwood, who was the top team out of probably the toughest region in the state. And, it was an exciting season. And I tell you what, I'm excited for this coming up season. I mean, football is just around the corner. It's hot as blue blazes outside right now. But you can kind of smell it turning a little bit in the air, and whenever you start smelling that pigskin, it's a good time of year.
Oh yeah, only about a month away from the opening of the football season of 2015, and we're going to go ahead and take a look at our top 10 through 7 teams, what we think for GISA AAA. So the first team we'll take a look at is the Westminster Wildcats as they kick off our top 10. It's a team that surprised many last year with a run to the second round of the playoffs, as they are traditionally known for their golf and tennis and soccer teams, but last year they earned their respect with their play on the gridiron. Behind a strong running game fueled by Nigel Eady, the Wildcats look primed again to make some noise in Region 4. The schedule for Westminster will feature 2 playoff teams from the AA ranks in Briarwood and Brentwood before moving into their region schedule in early October. If they can keep Eady healthy and fresh for region play, Westminster should be in contention to battle it out for the number 2 or 3 seed out of Region 4 going into the playoffs.
At number 9, the Southland Raiders. Coming in at number 9 is the only team on our countdown not to make the playoffs last season, the Southland Raiders. After a run to the state semifinals in 2013, Southland had a disappointing 2014 season, falling all the way to 3-7. With a bad taste in their mouth, the Raiders look to put last year in the rearview mirror and get back in contention in the ever-difficult Region 3. Southland has arguably the toughest schedule in the state, with games against the 2 defending state champions from AA and AAA in Westfield and Memorial Day, bookending their season. Opening the year versus Westfield should give a litmus test to the Raiders, giving an indication of what the season might hold. An early upset of the defending champions would do wonders for the Raiders and get the momentum moving in the right direction. Look for Southland to rebound this year and battle with Tift Area and Brookwood for the number 3 or 4 seed out of Region 3.
Our number 8 team is the lone representative of Region 1, and that is the Heritage Hawks. Things got off to a rough start for the Hawks last year as their head coach Kevin Prezant resigned from the school just days before the first game. The shock from the departure led to 2 early losses to Flint River and John Millage before Heritage regained their footing. Behind interim head coach DJ Clay, the Hawks rebounded and went on to win 7 straight and take the Region 1 title. An early exit in the playoffs did not tarnish an overachieving season, though, as Heritage will look to build on that success heading into this year. With Coach Clay now entrenched as the official head coach, the Hawks will look for revenge against Flint River and JMA before heading into the weak Region 1 play that they can easily come out of undefeated. Look for Heritage to battle for the number 1 seed out of Region 1 and host in the first round of the playoffs.
Our number 7 team is the Tift Area Panthers. Number 7 on our countdown is the Tift Area Panthers. blessed with one of the best athletes in the state in Logan Carswell, Tifft area looks to build on the momentum they established last year with a 7-4 record and a number 4 seed in Region 3. Navigating through that region again will be another tough challenge, but the boys from Chula look primed to challenge for a higher seed. Having Deerfield and Brookwood at home should be an advantage as they look to get over the hump and maybe host a playoff game this coming year. Be on the lookout for the Panthers, who may be able to sneak up on some teams who don't take them seriously and be in contention for a high seed come playoff time.
So that is our top 10 through 7 teams in the countdown, and we'll be right back after this with teams 6 through 4 on the Middle Georgia Sports Network Countdown Show right after this.
Spiller's Orthodontics is where great smiles begin. Whether you are an adult or a teen, they can make you smile. Dr. Don Spillers uses state-of-the-art technology and proven orthodontic techniques to provide his patients with the quality care they deserve. He offers Invisalign, Invisalign Teen, clear, and metal braces. No referral is needed, so call 478-953-2700 to schedule your complimentary evaluation and see why your friends love visiting his office.
Well, the news is out. Brandon Outfitters has taken Central Georgia by storm as one of the Mid-State's premier outfitters. Located just off I-75 in Perry, Georgia, Brandon has all of the latest gear for any hunting season or just for a nice night out on the town. They still have all of your favorite brands such as Southern Tide, Mountain Khakis, Southern Marsh, Patagonia, Costa, Orvis, and as always, a huge selection of firearms. Brandon also now features new brands such as Sims, Ray-Ban, Kavu, Chaco, Yeti, and much more. Come check them out at 106 Fairview Drive in Perry. They're sure to make your visit one to remember.
Welcome back to the Middle Georgia Sports Network Top 10 Countdown Show. Kenny Culver, Brett Taylor, and we've gone through the teams 10 through 7 so far. And Brett, you know, one of the teams that stood out to me was the number 9 team, and that's the Southland Raiders, a team you're very high on.
Yeah, absolutely. I know you argue with me over this. Kenny and I had to come up with like a little, some kind of rubric and whatnot to put our scoring system down for the top 10. But no, he argued with me about this, but I really feel high on Southland, and I think the reason why is you got to look at their losses from last year. So close to being, as you would say, over the hump. And that's key, I think. When they finally, having a new coaching staff and trying to get adjusted to that last year, I think when they learn how to win, that's going to be, because you're in close games, you just got to learn how to get over the hump and win the game. And so I think they're going to do that this year, and I think they're going to have at least 6-7 win season this year, and they're going to be a tough out for anybody that they play. So look for Southland to compete for that 3 or 4 seed, and if they get on a roll like they did 2 years ago, they could compete for a 1 or 2 seed out of Region 3.
They definitely do not lack athletes, that is for sure. So we'll go ahead and continue on in our countdown and give you teams 6 through 4. And the number 6 team is the Brookwood Warriors, as they are the number 6 team in the rankings of our best teams in GISA AAA football. The Warriors return their star quarterback Cullen Wells, who was dominating last year and leading his team to an 11-2 overall record and an appearance in the second round of the playoff. The problem for Brookwood, however, is the loss of a very experienced offensive line that allowed Wells to pick apart defenses last year. The Warriors will have a fairly easy road in their first 5 weeks of the season and will hope to work through some of those growing pains before kicking off their region schedule against Southland in late September. Brookwood is one of those teams that could truly have a boom or bust season this year, but based off the performance from Cullen Wells a year ago, we're betting on the boom.
At number 5, the John Millage Trojans. The John Millage Trojans are our number 5 ranked team in AAA to start the season of the 2015 football. The Trojans are always a dangerous team and well coached by J.T. Wall. They lose running back Cody Miller, but players like running back Gunnar Roberts, running back Cam O'Neill, and wide receiver Andrew Presswood will need to step up to repeat their postseason success of 2014. The Trojans have a relatively easy schedule early, but they face AA runner-up Piedmont in the middle of September, and then they have to go down to Perry and face the defending region champion and defending state champions in the AAA ranks in the Westfield Hornets on October 16th. That matchup with the Hornets could prove to be the region championship out of Region 4, and I tell you what, win or lose, the Trojans should be set up well heading into the playoffs, and they're hoping to repeat a strong run all the way to the semifinals, just like they did last season.
At number 4 is the Pinewood Patriots. And talking about coming out of nowhere in 2014, our number 4 team, the Pinewood Patriots, used a strong rushing attack and timely passing game to make it all the way to the 2014 title game. Unfortunately, they ran into what is the buzzsaw of the Westfield Hornets at Mercer University, but you can bet a return trip to Anderson Field in Macon is on the Patriots' mind coming into the 2015 football season. They have graduated some big-time talent, but have returning wide receiver John Michael Thompson, wide receiver Noah Callaway, and running backs Caleb Schumann and Preston Campbell. The schedule looks very manageable for the Patriots, facing Memorial Day on 28 August and Bullock Academy on the 31st of October to end the season. That final game against the Gators will possibly be a repeat of last year's de facto region championship game. Look for Pinewood to gain the 1 seed out of Region 2, setting up a great path to return to Mercer.
And we'll be back with our top 3 teams in the state of Georgia in GISA AAA right after this break.
Set your own banking hours with Planners First Online Banking. Planners First Online Banking allows you to connect and access your bank accounts 24/7. For those that are always on the go, you can check your balances, pay your bills, transfer funds anytime and anywhere you have internet access. Let Planners First Online Banking make your life a little easier. Planners First, a legacy of excellence since 1896. Member FDIC, an equal housing lender.
On the athletic field and in the classroom, students at the Westfield School are preparing to meet the challenging demands of the 21st century. Our dedicated faculty teaches and inspires students from pre-K to 12th grade to think critically and learn globally, preparing our students for college in a Christian environment that has been the Westfield mission for more than 44 years. And our students excel from football to chorus, art to tennis, and basketball to debate. Westfield students aspire to be champions. It's the Westfield experience. To learn more about the Westfield School, visit our website, westfieldschool.org, or call our admissions office at 987-0547. The Westfield School, ready for college, ready for life.
Welcome back to the Middle Georgia Sports Network Top 10 Countdown Show. Kenny Kofer and Brett Taylor here from the studio. As we're going to go through teams 3 through 1 now, and our number 3 team is the Valwood Valiants, who are entering their second season in Region 3 of AAA after winning the region last year. Coach Henderson had a ton of talent graduate last season in the names of Anthony Folkerts, who signed with Rutgers, Merrick Marine, and quarterback Parker Bonner, just to name a few. He is looking for some youngsters to step up, and rumor has it that some key transfers could also be plugged into the formula down in Valdosta. Coach Henderson's Valiants are never down for long, and we look for them to reload rather than rebuild. They will have to navigate through a tough early schedule with 2-time defending AA champ Memorial Day and North Florida Christian on the slate. They also play in arguably the toughest region in the state and will end the season with both Brookwood and Deerfield on the road. The final game of the season could very well be the region championship game for both the Valiants and the Knights of Deerfield-Windsor.
And in number 2, the Deerfield-Windsor Knights. The perennial powerhouse Knights come in at number 2 on our top 10. Their run to the state semifinals last season proved once again that Coach Alan Lowe is one of the best in the business. The Knights return running back Stephen Williams and quarterback Tyler Lowe to run Coach Lowe's creative offensive schemes. Lineman Holt Jones provides bulk up front to move defensive lines off the ball for the running attack in Williams. The Knights stay at home early in the season for out-of-state battles. Teams coming from both Alabama and Florida to play the Knights in Albany. Coach Lowe's diversified schedule should prove helpful as Deerfield will face region foes Brookwood early in October and then Valwood to end the regular season of region play. The difference this season in both of those games, they're both at home for the Deerfield-Windsor Knights. So region advantage should go to the Knights. We like the Knights to win the strong Region 3 AAA and place themselves in a terrific spot for a deep playoff run.
And closing out our countdown at number 1 is the Westfield Hornets. Being the 2-time defending state champs comes with certain perks, and one of those is being ranked number 1 in the state to start the following season. That is exactly where the Westfield Hornets find themselves in our top 10 at number 1. The Hornets return a ton of firepower in the offensive skill positions with players like fullback Josh Jenkins, quarterback Ryan Fitzpatrick, and wide receiver Giles Amos all finally becoming seniors. They also boast a very impressive back seven on defense with linebacker Gavin Edmondson and cornerback Reagan Waller anchoring the back seven. The question mark with the Hornets is found on both the offensive and defensive lines. Westfield's development on both fronts will be tested early as the Hornets make consecutive trips to Southland and Valwood to start the season. They simply need to manage the storm early and hit their stride during the latter part of the schedule in region play. Look for Westfield and John Millage to battle it out once more for the 4 AAA Region Championship in 2015. So that is our top 10 teams coming into the season in AAA of GISA. And Brett, obviously Westfield won the state championship twice in a row after a long time getting there, but playing the bridesmaid. They've been the bride the past 2 years.
Yeah, they went from Buffalo Bills to Dallas Cowboys in a
Like
matter
that.
of 2 years. So.
Right, and it's been a remarkable run for Westfield. I mean, they set team records last year with the number of points scored. Their defense was outstanding, but we've kind of touched on it. We'll touch on it later on in the summer. But offensive line, defensive line play. That really is a key for really almost any team here at the top.
Yeah, absolutely, and I'll just go ahead and put it right out there. Westfield's going to have to solve that problem if they want to win another state championship. They got all the skill position in the world, much like a couple other teams in the top 10, but if you don't have good line play, it's going to be hard, tough sledding, because you only have so much time to throw the football if you're Ryan Fitzpatrick and Colin Wells down in Brookwood, and you only got so much space to run it if you're Josh Jenkins. So that's going to be huge. I think that some of the teams that we mentioned, I'll go ahead and give you my top 4 teams that I think are going to make the Final Four. I don't know how it's going to play out when it comes to who gets what seed and all that good stuff and how the brackets all match up, but I think these teams deserve or will deserve by the end of the year to be in the Final Four. My first pick is going to be the Brookwood Warriors. I think they're going to figure out a way to surround Colin Wells with the talent he needs and get some offensive linemen in there, and he's going to start making some of those smarter plays and not have to be so outstanding on every play. The second team, I look for Pinewood to get back into the semifinals. They just have so much weaponry coming back in some of their youngsters that did not graduate last year. Lose quarterback and a wide receiver, but I think they've got some good skill positions coming back. I think Westfield and Deerfield will both make it again, and I think more than likely will not play each other in a semifinal matchup. Right. But you never know. Deerfield could have another couple losses in the region like they did last season and end up, a 3 seed or worse. But I just don't see that happening. And those are the teams I think are going to make it out and end up playing for a chance to go to Mercer, and it should be a great season.
Yeah, I mean, those are obviously 4 teams, very strong. I agree with you on 3 of the 4, and I hate to go chalk like we do in the March Madness, but looking to me, obviously Westfield, Deerfield, and I go with you on Pinewood. And Westfield and Deerfield, we talked about it a little bit earlier. It really comes down to home field advantage and those situations. Westfield last year having the home games in the playoffs against the Brookwoods, against the Deerfields, I think enabled them to get those victories. You go down to Thomasville, you go down to Albany, could be a little bit different story. So region play is very important.
Absolutely.
In the seeding process. So I got Westfield and Deerfield. I got them both as number 1. So you're right. I don't see them facing each other until possibly a state championship game. And then I got Pinewood also coming in at a 1 seed. And then finally, it's tough to go against Valwood. I know last year they might have had the most talent in the state.
Yeah, absolutely. They had a lot of good talent.
I mean, you got a guy playing in what is Rutgers? Big Ten now, I believe, right?
That American Atlantic or whatever they call it.
Yeah, well, I thought they added them to the Big Ten to get access to
they
New York,
did. They did. You're right.
So you got a guy.
They're in Maryland.
Right. They want access to those D.C. and New York markets. But anyway, so Folkerts, if you're good enough to play in the Big Ten up in a major market, obviously they got talent down there. Merrick Marine, I think he scored, 4 touchdowns. So, Valwood is a strong team. They have a lot of talent. It's if they can maybe play, I don't mean this in a bad way, but kind of dial down the arrogance level a little bit and play a little bit more fundamental, I think they could really be a team to watch out for. So those are my 4 teams: Valwood, Westfield, Deerfield, and Pinewood going forward. So that's our top 10 teams. We've discussed our top 4. And in a couple of weeks, we'll be back with another special presentation. We'll do the Westfield preseason outlook and hopefully have some interviews with some key players, as we've seen some of those guys move up from the sophomore super class at Westfield on up to juniors, and now they're finally to seniors. So we'll catch up with some of them. And we want to thank all of our sponsors for
Absolutely.
helping us out with everything they do, and
They make it possible.
absolutely. So thanks to all the parents out there and the fans who tune into our broadcast. So for Brett Taylor, I'm Kenny Cofer. Thanks for watching the Middle Georgia Sports Network Top 10 Countdown Show here on midgasports.net.